Welcome to a brand new episode of Lunch with Doug, a unique and fun experience brought to you by the creative minds at the Music Exerbia Project. We're here today thanks to the generous support of our esteemed sponsors. John's Barbershop, located at 121 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Open Tuesday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Walk-in only, no appointment needed. American Legion Post number 2, located at 402 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Newly remodeled with a clean, fresh look, gaming machines, and new smoke heaters. Open to the public. Express Printing and Hydro Dipping, Nevada's #1 full-service shop. Print, signage, banners, decals, hydrographics, tinting, and headlight restoration. Located at 14138 East Highway 54, just west of Mr. D's, 417-448-6444. The Precision Coffee Company, located at 224 East Walnut in Nevada, Missouri. Coffee, organic teas, specialty coffee drinks, smoothies, and fresh baked pastries. We're your local. All right, welcome back, folks, to another episode of Lunch with Doug. You are joining me. And last episode was Doug Meets Doug, first part, and we are in the conversation where he has just, Dangerous Doug Franklin, I should say, from Wild Dogs Radio, in case you didn't catch that other episode. He's just asked me to, be on his show, do a takeover and have a show there. I agreed to it. And then we start talking about radio stations and life in radio world, and then we go on from there. So that's what you're getting into today on Doug Meet Doug, Part 2 on the Lunch with Doug podcast. A long time ago, I did work at a radio station and such, many, many years ago. And so that's in part of the past. So,
yeah, but that you probably learned a lot from that experience. So,
oh yeah, I learned a lot. My biggest thing was how many records get thrown away.
Oh my god!
Like when they're receiving.
We could probably do a whole. Like 2-hour show on the inside stuff that goes on that most people don't know about.
Oh, yeah, there was so many artists that wanted airplay, and sometimes I would find myself. I was very sympathetic. I would find myself rescuing their records. Well, at that time they were CDs. So I would rescue their CDs out of the trash can. I'm like, holy cow, that much, we're not playing any of that. It's all going to the trash. And I would go through it and I would listen to it because I was like, man, this is, and some of these were like major label artists. It wasn't just like, so nobodies. These were, big or bigger. Maybe they weren't major, but they were like, independent that were distributed through a major. And they would come through. But
still, I mean, that whole concept of what you're talking about is crazy to me because it's some bigwig executive that's making those decisions on what's going to get heard and what's not going to get heard. And to me, that's the problem I have with mainstream FM radio. And I'm probably making enemies just even talking about it. But I feel like internet radio is bigger now, and we are the true underground.
Yeah, I believe it. Because, that's everything now. And even when you, even on the streaming platforms, even if it's not necessarily like the radio itself, like you guys do, it is still they'll call it like the radio channel, and it'll pick up that artist, and similar artists will follow into that. So there's some of that goes on that's where you'll find something that you wouldn't have found normally. And
exactly.
I think Spotify kind of does a pretty good job of they don't seem like they're so hard on who the artist is. They're more about looking out for the listener of what the listener's trying to listen to.
Yes.
So they're trying to find
that's absolutely truth about that's why a lot of us that do this internet radio, we Spotify is a really good tool for us to use. I know the industry, it's negative. The artists don't get paid, but if you look at it like more of a tool than, okay, this is how I'm going to make my money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you look at it like that, it makes a lot more sense. And Spotify is just huge.
Because one night I was listening to Spotify, I fell asleep, and it was just, it had went into random recommendation mode. It got through whatever playlist I was done, and so it just starts randomly, spitting out songs based on what I'd been listening to. And this one song, I woke up, and it's this really amazing song from this Canadian artist who'd I never heard of. And he had 1,000 monthly listeners or something. He was, I was like, this guy's, obviously he's not on a deal or anything, but his music was great. And I was like, this guy's my new favorite artist, right? So I don't know if he's my new favorite artist, but I really liked his song. And so I ended up, I messaged him, in the middle of the night. I was like, dude, your song just played on Spotify, and it's like my favorite song now, dude. This is Amnesia is the name of the tune. And he was, very thankful about it. And so anyway, I've connected some with him now. But
so who's the artist? Because this is your show, man. Let's throw names out there, because this is how these guys get followers. It's how you get followers. Is throw the name out there, because to me, this is all a free for all. The way I look at it is, if you don't throw your name around, it's not gonna get heard. So
yeah, you gotta say it. And actually, I gotta look up what his last name is. His first name is Ian, and I think that's how you.
Because I guarantee you this: just you and I having this conversation, Ian's going to end up on Wild Dogs Radio. If Dangerous Doug Harper likes it, everybody's going to like it.
Everybody's going to like it.
No joke.
Well, amazing. I like where this is going. Yeah, let me look up his name here. I can't remember his last name, but his first name was Ian. That's why I was like, I got to be careful. I'm like, my new favorite artist, and then I don't know his damn name. But I've listened to his song.
But that happens, though. That's what is the beauty of this all, is you hear a song, especially on Spotify, you might not catch it right away. I've seen this happen to me before. I'll just put it on just random, and it will just play, and it will play somebody, and they strike that thing in you, and you're like, oh, I'm sold. And then you forget the friggin' name. It happens.
His name is...
It's the beauty of Spotify.
His name is Ian Janes. The song that I heard was Amnesia. And I've since listened to...
I'm looking it up. I'm seriously looking it up.
Yeah. Well, and
this is what we do. This is what we do because, with what you do, with what we do, we're all in this for the same goal, and it's simply to get the word out there. And man, this is what excites me is when you hear something new unexpectedly, and you're like, oh
yeah. He's kind of like R&B kind of ish, newish, but it's just, I don't know. There's something really catchy about that song. And also it's Amnesia. Basically, he's saying he wants to forget his past love, which I thought was kind of a cool concept, because he's like, please give me amnesia so I can forget this.
We've all been there. If you could send me a link, nothing I've done, but through just, I guess, luck, maybe hooking up with Doug Russ, I started off going, okay, yeah, internet radio. I'm nothing. This DJ thing. I can't picture myself doing this. He says, send me 15, 16, 17 songs, keep it around an hour, make me a playlist and send it to me, and you can have a show. And I've met people like you through this. It's just, I don't know. I get like a major rush from hearing new stuff.
I've been watching Ian. Okay, so a couple things have happened to him that's really interesting too. Not to just get away from this, but now that we've started talking about it, it's fascinating to me because he had like maybe 1,000 monthly listeners when Spotify discovered it to me, right? Well, then shortly after I was listening to it and everything, shortly after that, he connects with this rapper who has like 200,000 monthly listeners. And the rapper really liked his song, and he wanted to do like a rap version around it, right? So they sped it up, and it was like a collab. Well, so now he's went up to like 25. I think last time I looked, he's somewhere around 2,500, monthly listeners there on Spotify. So he went up like over double probably because he got, with this rapper guy. But so that I didn't really like the rapper version as well because it sped up the song and everything. But I mean, it was a good song, quality and everything like that. It just wasn't. I was just so into the way the song originally was, I didn't listen to that one as much. But yeah, he was really excited because that guy had 200,000 monthly listeners.
Yeah,
That's
obviously,
huge.
Because what might be great to you and I, there's a whole other audience out there that if there's a different variation to it, they're going to gravitate to it. This is what makes this so much fun. And if you log on and you see you've gained this many more followers because of something you've done that might be out of your wheelhouse a little bit, it's such a rush.
Yeah.
And this is what's exciting about it to me. Are you familiar with, they're from Canada as well. They're called the White House, and White House is spelled WHYTE House. It's kind of a fusion of rap and country. I've never been a big country fan, but what this guy does is just amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out because
I'll send you a link to a couple of the songs that are really big on Spotify. And this is you know what I gotta say, just being able to talk to you about all this is not something I ever foresaw happening. And again, I appreciate you reaching out. This is great.
I guess I didn't really know what we was going to talk about. I was going to talk to you and learn about you a little bit more, and hopefully the listeners would, tap into that. I have been sharing it, so probably most of my network people already kind of have, got the buzz of what's happening, shaking. But it's kind of cool to even, especially bring that to life a little more as you get to know people. You talk to them in person, so to speak. It's exciting,
and that's why we do this, Doug, is because it's all about grabbing a new listener. There's nothing better than knowing, hey, because of us being loudmouths and doing what we do, we get this guy more followers. Because guess what? I feel like I have a decent ear for music, and I feel like if I like this, there's got to be other people that will.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like this Ian guy, and I like his music, but also I think as I listen to it, I think about things like the commercial value and stuff like that too. And I'm like, this guy's really commercial sound. Like, I think he could go on tour with, like, say, Maroon 5. And if he was on tour with Maroon 5, he'd be gigantic because everyone would love his stuff just because he's great. He just needs that placement. And if he was just at the right place, boom.
That's that's what it's all about now, is the right timing. And man, I there's so much good independent music out there that you're going, why aren't these guys on tour with Maroon 5 already?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I can't be the only one that feels this way.
Mm-hmm. And my initial thing, if I had not seen the numbers on Spotify, like because I'm an artist, so I'm paying very close attention.
You have to. You have to be watching that
I'm
stuff.
paying attention to that, so I look at the other artists, it's just a habit. Like, well, who is this person? But if that number had not been there, I would have sworn he was a major label artist that was very successful.
Crazy when you come across somebody like that and you look and you're like, why doesn't this person have 1 million plus monthly listeners?
Yeah. And if it had said 1 million listeners, I wouldn't have been, I wouldn't even have doubted it. I'd just been like, okay, he's got 1 million monthly listeners. Yeah, this guy. He's
okay,
good.
that checks out.
I wouldn't have doubted it. I just there was nothing, out of place. It just sounded very good. And then the other songs, he had the artwork and everything just was great. It was great. And I guess he's
awesome.
He's so great in the aspect of that regard that the next thing that happens when I'm paying attention is one day I see a post about how he got AI actually kind of stole his identity. They released an AI song under his name, and it was attached to his catalog on Spotify, right? So it was him. He was like, he got a notification about how well his new release was doing. And he was like, what new release? I didn't put out a new release. And he realizes that it's been connected to him. So it's, notifying him about his new release that's not really him. It's what they do, I guess now it's a scammer thing. They'll put out an AI. Of course, it didn't even sound like him. It was nothing like him or nothing like that. The only thing they attached was his name, and it just, Spotify connected it. So it wasn't really, you can't copyright a name, I guess. Like if it's your name, like if my name was Dolly Parton and I put out an album, Dolly Parton couldn't do anything because that would be my name.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the downside of technology right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I not that I would think this would be better with a mainstream artist that has like billions of followers, but you know what? Leave the independent guys alone. They're already working their asses off to try to do what they do, to share their craft with you. Don't do that.
And somebody thought I guess what the hack would be is they put out this name that they just pick somebody. If they picked somebody famous like Dolly Parton, sure they'd get a lot of views, but they'd get shut down really quick. Well, if they pick somebody that's kind of in the middle, they're not going to get shut down as quick, Plus, they also might be thinking, well, is this guy really going to sue us? Does he have that kind of money and stuff like that? So it's tricky. But I guess that's what Spotify changed their royalty rates and stuff, which isn't necessarily in the benefit of the indie artists, but at the same time, they may have had a valid reason because what they said was they were trying to, avoid this kind of scam kind of stuff. So it was, as part of it was trying to prevent these artists that were not real artists. They'd put out a 5-second song and then they just play it a billion times, and they'd have to. So they
gotta get their numbers.
Yeah, so they're
gotta get the numbers.
They're looking at like that kind of thing. Once again, thanks for spending your lunchtime with me today on this episode of Lunch with Doug. We're here today thanks to the generous support of our esteemed sponsors. John's Barbershop, located at 121 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Open Tuesday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Walk-in only, no appointment needed. American Legion Post number 2, located at 402 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Newly remodeled with a clean, fresh look, gaming machines, and new smoke heaters. Open to the public. Express Printing and Hydro Dipping, Nevada's #1 full-service shop. Print, signage, banners, decals, hydrographics, tinting, and headlight restoration. Located at 14138 East Highway 54, just west of Mr. D's. 417-448-6444. The Precision Coffee Company, located at 224 East Walnut in Nevada, Missouri. Coffee, organic teas, specialty coffee drinks, smoothies, and fresh baked pastries. We're your local.